Welcome to another JK Deal Reveal. We should have Janie on shortly. She's running just a few minutes late, but she'll be with us in a moment. So JK's Deal Reveal tonight, it's going to go super fast. That is the goal. I know I keep saying that, but I want to really show you how quickly these deals can come and go. And so JK's Deal Reveal, the time is now. It's time to get excited because we are going to analyze deals fast, potentially deals that can be 4 times better than what we find in Canada. We're investing where the numbers make sense, which isn't always our backyard. And today we are going to analyze another deal that was submitted to us. And this is it right here. It's another property in Cleveland, and the address 3624 West 134th. So Janie, nice of you to join us here. This is a single family home that is being asked. The asking price is 110,000. So you might be looking at this and say, "Wow, that's a really low price." Well, let's take a look. 3624 West 134th. Let's start the timer right now and see if this is a deal or not a deal according to JK standards. So, allons-y. 3624 West 134th Street, and just tack on Trulia at the end. That's the first step. Usually it's the first search result that comes up in Google. And this, boom, it gives you a whole bunch of information, but the real reason I'm going here is to get a quick, and I mean like glance at the condition of the property. We're looking at, this is basically turnkey, right? Just real quick. Truly estimates at 125,000. It's a 3-2, about 1,800 square foot home. So this is a single family home at a decent sized property. And I want to take a look at the crime. Already it shows lowest crime, which I'm liking. And here it is. It's near the Jefferson portion of Cleveland, neighborhood of Cleveland. And if we zoom out and zoom in, we see that we're in a gray area, light gray, which basically means it's the lowest crime. It is the safest on a crime level area of Cleveland. And so I'm liking that. That's wonderful. We can zoom out and get an idea of where this property is located in the Cleveland market. And we see here that it is on the south, well, more on the western side, a little southwest side of Cleveland. And just outside all of the higher density and higher crime inner city area of the west side. So crime, beautiful, we are golden there. So if you, I mean, you might be an investor who crime is, nope, too high crime, I'm out. And so this is a quick check. Within 30 seconds, you can say I'm in or I'm out just because you looked at the crime first. So crime check is done. I'm going to copy paste into Total View Real Estate. Now I want to take a look at the approximate value of this property, and I'm going to go get some online opinions to do that. So I'll remind you that Trulia estimated at 125,000. I don't typically like Trulia's estimations, which is why I go to Total View Real Estate. It just so happens here that Total View estimates this property at 121,000, and Zillow, Total View also pulls the Zillow estimate at about 125,000 here. So I've got 3 opinions that are in the 120 to 125 range. I'll remind you that they're asking 110. So right now it's looking like if you were to buy it at 110, you would be buying with some equity. You are buying at a discount, which is the first rule of real estate. Buy at a discount, buy equity. I would like to just spend a couple of moments to consider the comps that it's pulling. This is a 3-2. So I like to dive in and just take a look at a couple of the 3-2s to see what's happening. Here's a 3-2 that was sold for 75,000. Actually, yeah. There's a 3-1 for 100,000. A couple of 3-2s here for 121, 128, 93. So, and another one for 93 here. More 3-2s, 122. So there's quite a few in the 120 range. That is quite reassuring to me to say that these 75s are likely properties that were not turnkey. They were not rent ready, that didn't need any work. So this is a property which is basically rent ready, And so I'm already looking at the higher end, not the highest necessarily, but I'm looking on the higher end. So in the 120 range, I'm fairly confident right now that that's where this property would be. And so now you have to decide if the property is really worth 120, how much of a discount do you want to buy your properties at? Right? If you say, I want to buy something with 30% discount, you're going to have to buy it for $84,000 to buy it with a 30% discount, right? So I multiplied by 70% by 0.7. If you say, no, so long as I buy with a 20% discount, so you want to buy it at 80% of what it's worth, I'd have to pay 96 for it, okay? They're asking 110. Just because they're asking 110 doesn't mean you have to pay 110, okay? So that gives you an idea of where you should probably have your first offer in, right? Somewhere in the low 80s to low 90s is what I would recommend to satisfy the first rule of real estate, which is buy at a discount. Okay, wonderful. Next step is I want to get some sense of if I were to buy this property and rent it out, what kind of cap rate, what kind of cash flow would I be looking at? So I need to go and see what type of rents does a 3-2 in this area command. So a 3-2 in this area, I'm going to rentalmeter.com, just put in the address, bedrooms, bathrooms, actually surprisingly low, all right, for this area. I was expecting a little bit higher, but we're basically in the 850 to 900 range. This being a turnkey property and it looks like it's in a good condition, low crime, I'm pretty confident we'd be in the 900 range, if not even higher. But from the data I'm looking at, let's just run with 900. And I'm being a little bit not overzealous, but I'm being nice on my numbers here, okay? So quick rule of real estate. Remember the 50% rule? 50% rule. So if we have 900 a month coming in, there's 12 months a year. So your gross income for this property would be about 11,000, 10,800. The quick rule of real estate when it comes to rental properties on single family homes is the 50% rule. And in Cleveland, taxes are actually quite low. So this 50% rule can actually be a 55% rule, and I would say that's more appropriate for the Cleveland market. So rather than using the 50% rule, which is multiplying by 50% by 0.5, you can go ahead and multiply by 0.55. Because taxes are so low, property values aren't terribly high, so insurance is low. So the 0.55 is a good estimate. So this property would be generating about 6,000 net a year if you were to buy this cash with no mortgage. Okay, so it brings in about 11,000 gross and about 6,000 net. So now the question becomes, if you're buying something that's generating 6,000 net and you're paying 110,000 for it, you're buying a 5 cap, right? Which might be wonderful in your city, but for the Cleveland standards, I would say that that is not very interesting. Unless you're buying at a significant discount. A 5 cap, I would say you can find better than that. But that's at asking price. Okay, so let's redo this. This is the net, about 6,000 a year. Let's say we got it under contract for 96,000. What would be the cap rate? Now we're looking at a 6. Okay, what if we have this property for 84,000? Now we're at a 7 cap. So I don't know where your standards are. Is buying a 7 cap, that's the number that makes you say, yes, I'm excited. I'm happy with this. I bought it at a discount and I got a 7% return every year. That's pure cash flow. That doesn't take into consideration inflation, all the leverage that you can apply to real estate. Basically, the 9 powers of real estate. If you haven't listened to that training or been part of our USA workshop, the 9 powers of real estate are all the benefits of investing in real estate. The cap rate is basically just an estimate on the cash flow and how strongly each dollar is working for you on a cash purchase. So this is a 7%. Let's say in your mind, no way I'm investing at anything under a 10 cap. Okay, so how would you figure out what price you need to offer to get a 10 cap, right? If this property is generating about 6,000 a year, that's the NOI. To find their 10 cap, you need to divide by the desired cap that you want. So if you want a 10 cap, you divide by 10%. Your NOI divided by 10%, you would have to buy this property at $59,400 to buy this at a 10 cap. Okay. And I'm going to redo this just for the sake of argument. Let's say I don't buy anything under a 12 cap. What do? You take your NOI and you divide it by 0.12. You divide it by 12%. To buy it at a 12 cap, you would have to buy this property for $49,500. Okay. They're asking 110. So there's quite a ways to go to get it from 110 to 49.5. Is it impossible? No. Is it more likely that it'll take more time and you'll have to negotiate and be more patient and put in some, negotiation strategies and maybe bring in some terms to make the numbers work? Yes. But nonetheless, as it stands right now, it looks like you're buying at a slight discount from its market value. That's rule number one. But the cash flow cap rate is pretty low. So I would say it's not satisfying the second golden rule of real estate, which is buying cash flow or buying at a decent cap rate. So is this a JK deal or no deal? What do we feel? So hopefully that wasn't too fast. I was trying to just give it the core basics here and show you that in under 10 minutes, we can completely do this initial analysis, and we see from an equity point of view and from a cap rate, from a cash flow point of view, if it's a deal or not a deal. So we have no deal. Dom says no deal. So I would agree as it stands right now. Do you see my screen here?
Bring it closer.
Bring it closer. This is not a JK approved deal. Not as it stands. So that's where we're at today. Does that mean, here's a question. Does that mean you don't put an offer? Okay. Does that mean we just move on to the next? We've already invested I was explaining through it. So really it took about 5 minutes to get through this analysis. We've already invested 5 minutes. Do we decide to completely throw away those 5 minutes? Or do we still, we have an idea of what the situation is. We have an idea what number it would work. It's just a couple minutes longer to send an email, schedule a call, or just pick up the phone and start a conversation, build the relationship with the seller or the wholesaler or the broker. It's an opportunity to explain who you are, what you do, what you're looking for. And if this is not the deal today, it might be in a month or in 6 months. And better yet, this seller might be representing other properties that you would have never known about had you not picked up the phone and called. So remember, if you're putting the time in, go one step further and really explore it to meet new people and to see what other deals are hidden behind the deal. So that's where the real deals are found and created. So that's 100%. It. That's what I wanted to say for the JK deal reveal for this week, short and sweet. And next time we are going to be bringing in, I'm going to try to bring on one of the partners, one of the JK partners, and explore and show you how sometimes a deal like this one might not make sense per se, but looking at it from a different perspective, from a different investing model, such as short-term rentals, might completely change the numbers on the cash flow. So I don't know. This property would have been a good short-term rental. We're buying it at a discount, but the cash flow is lower. So what if we had done short-term rentals and doubled, right, the income, bringing it from a 7 cap to a 14 cap? Maybe that's all. Maybe this property is a good candidate for that. So next week, I'm going to try to bring on one of the JK partners, and we're going to be showing a deal that's short-term rental potential, and hope to see you there. Janie, any final words?
No, I'm very excited for next week.
Excellent.
No,
Fingers
this is good.
crossed.
This is all good. It's very, very good. It's very quick, like you showed people. I mean, you don't need to analyze this for days and hours on end. That's no right. Deal, like you said. Either there's always deals behind the deal. It's important to create relationships. That's how we've built what we've built. It's always through relationships. So don't only look at this deal, but definitely think about the deal behind the deal. That's how we've built what we've built.
Absolutely. Under 10 minutes is how much time you need to spend per deal before picking up the phone and asking any clarifying questions that you might have for the seller. but the target is under 5 minutes. Okay.
Yep.
Think of how many more calls, more leads, more conversation, more relationships you can generate if you're just spending 5 minutes on a deal, right? That's 20 an hour. Did I do my numbers right there? No, I totally messed up. That's that's a lot. It's 12 an hour. My goodness. It's a lot more than just spending an hour on one deal and never even picking up the call, the phone, because then you finally realize, no, the numbers aren't working. It's not worth my time. That is such a waste of time.
Or spending time on pictures.
Oh yeah, pictures. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't look at pictures. I used to do that all the time. Obviously, it was a waste of time because if the numbers don't work, who cares about the pictures?
Mm-hmm. The only reason for the pictures is to have some quick estimate on how much work is needed, right? Quickly put it in a bucket. No work, very light work, so under 5,000, or is it a larger project? And if it gets into a larger project, it's very hard to determine off pictures anyways. So you're going to want to pick up the phone and have a conversation and start outlining exactly what work needs to be done, and you're going to get a better sense from the numbers there. So there's no point in any space to spend too much time on the pictures. That's the story.
Lesson
That's my
learned,
story.
Kyle. Lesson learned.
That's right. All right. Well, wonderful, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this JK no deal reveal. Once again, that's 2 weeks in a row, but it's to show you, you are going to spend more times looking at no deals than deals. And that's the point. We have to get through them quickly. We don't have time to waste. We need to get through them fast. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully the lessons are sinking in. And I look forward to seeing you next week on our JK Deal Reveal, or right after this at 8 in about half an hour. The Now for Tomorrow Club Premium Mastery Call is on. So if you're not part of that, I invite you to become part of the Now for Tomorrow crew club. And we're sending you lots of love from Janie and I. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful night. Now for tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
All right, bye, guys. Have a good night.